JT is going to help us out with the power position, and I'm going to make some adjustment on him. We're going to talk about common errors and how to correct those as a coach. So JT, why don't you show us what looks like a power position here. So he's demonstrating a discus power position, and he's doing it intentionally incorrectly, so we can, as a coach, help remold him, reshape him a little bit. Some things we're looking for is posture and alignment. That's always important to me. And what I want to see is a straight line from his head back down through his leg and back. And you can see he's bent over in this position. And what I want to see is him actually flex his glute a little bit. And so that helps straighten his back up. And I want to see a nice high throwing arm. So alignment-wise, we should see his arm hopefully close to being on top of his left leg. And we should see his non-throwing arm straight off his body like this. Some slight flexion in his left knee, but not a whole lot, because that's going to be his block leg. We want him up on the ball of his foot, so his heel's up off the ground. It's tough to rotate on a right foot if you're flat-footed. That doesn't work very well. So we need to be on the ball of the foot in that position. His foot alignment should be a heel-to-toe relationship. So that means his left foot, his blocking leg, will be slightly to the left or the right. So the the toe of the left will be close to the heel of the right. So I'll put the athlete in this position, have him hold for a couple counts, do a systems check, hold it, and then I'll have him relax and stand up. Shake it out, and then we'll have him reset, do it again. That's pretty good. The adjustment I may make is slide his hip under a little bit, easy. Hold the position. As you can see, it's a little difficult just to hold positions. I'd like to see a little better flexibility, hold, and then have him relax, stand up out of it. I may do this 20, 30 times with an athlete until they get used to this positioning. Try it again. And then I'll make the adjustments as the coach. He's doing a pretty good job here. Good. Now, let's show some common errors, JT. How about a blocked off foot position? And typically what I see is a bent over posture. So the hips are back and we have a low point out here, high point off here, which means he's going to throw it out of the left sector line or into the cage from this position. The fact he's blocked off, that presents some problems too. He can't get his hips around. So I would physically tell him to move his foot into the proper position. I would adjust his arms and I would adjust his hip positioning a little bit. Stay there, hold, and hold. Again, and we'd repeat. I'd have them stand up. When they start shaking, you know they're pretty tired and they need a break. So we'll have him get in the position again and see if he can repeat it. And we keep doing this again and again and again until he can kind of live in that position and it becomes his own. Because we're introducing these bizarre positions to a young athlete that they've never been in before. There's no other sport that replicates this. So you have to get them in that position, get them comfortable with it, and make it their own so they can repeat it again and again and do it at speed when we introduce motion to it. So the next step in this process is to introduce some controlled movement to the stand, throw, or power position. So JT is going to be in this position, and to introduce some movement, what we want to see happen is see JT move from the foot, knee, hip through the top. We don't want to see him unwind his upper body first, so let's see if he can do that. Left arm clears, right arm delivers. We want head back position. We want to have this C position that's created where his hips out, the discus arm is on stretch, and you can feel all the way up through the chain, stretch through the chest, through the torso, his hip, and all the way through the ground into his right foot into the ground. Extremely important to be up through the chain. Head back, everything on stretch. left arm blocking, all right? What's really common from a young thrower, if you wind back, JT, most young throwers want to just push from the right leg and shift. Show them a bad example of that. Push and deliver. Somewhat forward like that, extension of the right leg, no weight on it, and literally deliver off of one leg, the left leg. This movement helps to fight that because every thrower wants to shift left, the young ones I work with. So as a coach, if I got a shifter that wants to do that, I'm going to prohibit that and not let him do that and keep him back on his right leg. It's hard for him. Keep him back on his right leg, right foot grounded with that ball of the foot into the ground and delivering here. And I want him to push against me here at this point and feel the pressure and feel it through the core, through his hip into the ground. So we can establish that relationship and how important that is to throwing far. Okay, we can relax. So JT's demonstrating the proper foot position here, where his left foot or blocking foot is roughly with his arch with his right foot. He's already starting to shake here a little bit, but this is the proper foot position. Go ahead and put your arms in the right position too. A blocked off foot position, which is incorrect, would have the left foot over here, and this would result in throwing the discus into the cage or out of the right sector. And it doesn't allow you to get your hips around and score it up to the throw. A open position would be foot placement over here, which doesn't allow you to have a block leg in front of you, and it results in either throws out of the left sector or fouling out the front, problems with fouling because you don't have a block leg in front of you, it's off to the side. So let's put it back in the right position. That way he has a block leg in front, and it still allows him to turn his hips all the way through to the finish.
I think one of the first breakthroughs I had was really trying to figure out the stand throw, making sure that the stand throw was right, because it's the moment where you deliver the discus. And if you do an incredible turn out of the back of the ring and the stand throw is problematic and you're not efficient, you're going to lose all of that energy incredibly quickly. So that stand throw has to be right first for me. That was kind of my first thing. And so I worked very hard on it. I worked hard on it in high school as well. I worked hard on it in college. And I've worked hard on it since then, and got to a point where I could throw over 60 meters with a stand throw. And I think that was a great foundational component. And how I think I got to that point, there was a lot of breakthroughs, but for me, the first one was you can't use your upper body. You can't use your upper body. If you start pulling away, using your left arm too much too soon, if the timing of that movement's off because your upper body is too active, then the whole movement will disintegrate very quickly. So how do you get the lower body to be active initially, as the initiator of that movement, and how do you create a lot of acceleration, a lot of power without getting tight? And that's a very hard thing, especially for beginning athletes, because when you first start throwing a discus, the first thing you want to do is plant your legs, get tall, and try to throw that thing as hard as you can with your arm and your chest. And it creates a habit that is very hard to break because that's our nature. And when you're kind of fighting your natural impulses in a throw, it can be challenging. So if you get a lot of reps of being tall and upper body active at a finish, not only are you working with kind of your genetic, like what your body wants to do, but you're creating a nervous system rut. And those nervous system ruts can be very hard to break when you're trying to throw big at a big championship meet. So that's another one of those foundational things. So for me, it was relaxing the upper body while still trying to create a lot of power.